Hey, Tim Reset from the MBAA here. We are excited to kick off our 2023 cross-country season this weekend at McDowell. The series is again presented by Pivot Cycles, and McDowell Meltdown is brought to you by Grease Monkey. So we've got a lot of good sponsors and support coming back for this year. This video is just to run through a handful of important pieces of information. We do these rider meeting videos for the Enduro series, and they're a big hit, so I thought we'd try it here for the cross-country series as well. If you have questions at the end, you can always shoot us an email, info@mbaa.net, and we get you taken care of. So let's run through. We got a lot of information to run through. We'll just kind of run through it really quick, and then we'll get you guys out of here. So 2 days of racing this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. We're going to try to go back to a one-day format of the just Saturday races for 2024, now that we don't have the COVID restrictions and the capacity limits for each day. If you are racing on Saturday, you'll either be marathon. We have our elite and expert men and women. We have our intermediate men, rock crushers, and plus bike, as well as a single speed men and masters men. All you guys and gals will be racing on Saturday. For Sunday, beginner men, all the women except the experts and elites, juniors, so our 6 to 14-year-old juniors will all be on Sunday, first-timer men and women, and then our e-bike as well. So we've got e-bike category for McDowell and for Estrella, so you can sign up for those. If we have a small turnout like we did last year, we may just scrap the e-bike category, but if you want to race e-bikes, here's your chance. Not all of our race venues allow e-bikes, so we have the opportunity here in the Maricopa County to do an e-bike race at McDowell and Estrella, so that will be on Sunday, and no e-bikes in any of the other categories. So if you try to race an e-bike in one of the age group categories, you'll be disqualified. When you enter the park, there's no parking on the main road because we have a lot of riders warming up on that main road to the park. So all the parking will be in the Four Peaks lot as well as our camping. So when you enter the park, you make a right and that will take you to the Four Peaks lot. If you're camping, please camp on the perimeter. Makes it a little bit nicer to camp as well because you're backed up to the desert. So you can camp on the perimeter. You'll pay at the front entrance station, and you can come in anytime on Friday and set up and camp, and they just want you out of there by Sunday afternoon. All of our parking will also be in the Four Peaks lot. There's plenty of space. And then in the competitive track lot, that's where the race venue will be, our team tents, and the sponsors, and all the food and that kind of stuff. If you have a team and you want to set up a tent in the team pit zone area near the feed zone, you can do that. You just go to the website under the McDowell page, and you can click the link to pick your spot to set up a team tent. And if you want to be a vendor or a sponsor, you can shoot us an email as well, info@mbaa.net, and we can get you set up in the venue as well. If you're a series rider, so if you signed up for the entire series, you'll pick up your number plate and your t-shirt and all that at McDowell. And so we have packet pickup on Friday from 4 to 5, as well as Saturday and Sunday all day. So just make sure you pick up your race number at least 30 minutes prior to your start so that you have time to get warmed up and get it pinned on and all that stuff. Call-ups for McDowell, since it's the first race in the series, we're going to bring up any national champions, state champions, and if you finish top 3 in the 2022 XC series. So we're not going to call you up by name, but if you finished top 3 in the series last year, or you went out and got a national cross-country title, when Cindy calls up those riders, those categories, you can go up to the front of the start chute. If you were top 3 in the series last year, let's say you raced beginner and you were second overall in your category, you presumably moved up to intermediate, because that's our rules say if you were top 3 in your category, you got to move up to the next category. So if you're not comfortable starting on the front row as the first time racing that category, you don't have to. It's just a way to get those recognized that were beginner top 3, let's say, and then have moved up to intermediate. So once we get to our following races, the call-ups will be based off of the first race, and then the first and second race, and then 1, 2, 3, and the series and so forth. We're going to call up the first group of the wave 5 minutes before that wave starts, and then all the waves will be going off in 3-minute increments. So if you're starting at 9 o'clock, your call up and you're the first group to go, then the call ups will be 8:55, and then we'll go 3 minutes after that. So you don't have to rush over to the start chute, but kind of hang around and listen for your call ups, because there are usually quite a few riders going off within a 20 or 30-minute period. Juniors on Sunday, we'll stage you guys 10 minutes before. So again, you don't have to rush over there, but at 10 minutes till, we'll announce that we're going to call you up, bring everybody up into the start chute. We made the start chute a little bit wider this year, and try not to overlap wheels in the start chute. We'll have lines on the ground, and we can go about 7 wide, and there's plenty of room to move up on course. Even if you're racing the 10-mile blue, if you're doing one blue loop, there's plenty of time to sort yourself out on course. So if you do start at the back of the field and you're one of the faster riders, no need to panic and freak out. There's plenty of time to save your energy at the start and make smart passes, and by the end of the race, you'll more than likely be up at the front. So if you're a new rider, if this is your first time racing with the MBAA, we're more than happy to have you out, and excited to have a lot of new riders, new families, folks that have come from the high school series and just other things, running and whatnot. So thanks for coming out and racing with us. We've got food trucks out there, sponsors and vendors. We've got massage. We've got all kinds of stuff happening. We do have a kids race as well. So if your kids are 6 and under, that will be Sunday at 12:30, and that's free, just in the venue. So come out for that. Let's see. Parents, if you have kids riding, we don't allow parents on course except if they're in the 6 to 8 category. We provide our own sweeps for the older kids, for the 9 to 14, and so that way it's not just mom riding behind their kid and blocking everyone else. We've had trouble in the past. So last year you guys were all really good with that, and I think most people know the drill and how things work. But if it is your first time, feel free to come find myself or one of the other board members or staff, and we can answer any questions, or you can email us ahead of time. We can get your questions answered. Let's see. There's Geiger Coaching's doing a free skills clinic on Friday from 4 to 5, so you can sign up for that on the either on the website or our Facebook page. And for those that are new to signing up for bike events, because we're a series, your age bracket is like the age that you are at December 31st of this year. So if your birthday is January 5th, then at December 31st, however old you turned on January 5th is the age that you're going to be come December 31st. So when you have a series, you've got a whole bunch of races happening, and so especially with the younger riders, we can have kids that turn 12 on January 1st or turn 12 December 30th. So your race age is the age you will be on December 31st of 2023. And so then that's the category that you should sign up to race in. Also on Sunday, we have a junior, we're calling it a gear drive, where if you're a junior rider, you can come out to, we'll have a tent set up next to the registration area, and we have a whole bunch of lightly used bike gear, clothing, all kinds of stuff. And you can go and pick through some of that and pick an item to take home with you for free. If you're an adult and you have any used cycling gear, feel free to bring it down. You can drop it off this week at McDowell Mountain Cycles right in Fountain Hills, or just bring it on Sunday. We can get that set up at the table. So just a nice way to recycle some old stuff or used stuff that juniors might be able to make use of. And then we'll also have t-shirts and socks and hats and stuff for sale. This year we're also bringing back leg marking, so that way if you're out on course and you come up on a rider and you're not sure, are they in my category, are they in a different category, are they a marathon rider, at registration you'll get your leg marked with a corresponding letter or number, and then you'll know that, okay, if I'm 3, category of number 3, then all the people that I come up that have a number 3 on their leg I'm racing against. And that way you don't get to the end and you think, oh, I got to sprint against this person, but really they're in a completely different category, or they're a marathon rider, or something like that. Speaking of marathon riders, as we wrap up here, we always get a few questions. So the marathon course is a red loop, which is 30 miles, plus a blue loop, which is 10 miles, and that makes up the 40-mile course. And so one red loop plus one blue loop is the entire marathon race course. The cutoff for marathon is 3.5 hours. So if you go out and you do your 30-mile loop and you get that, you finish that loop in 2.5 hours, well then you can go out for your second blue loop, or I'm sorry, for your second loop, which is the blue loop. If you go out there and you do your 30-mile loop and you take a break and you take some photos and you come back and it's taken you 4 hours to do that red loop, well then you're not disqualified, you're just finished. You've passed the cutoff. You don't have to go out and do that blue loop. So like I said, you're not disqualified, you just missed the 3.5 hour cutoff, so then your race is essentially finished. And then lastly, if you are passing, because we have lots of riders out there, try to do your best to pass on the left. That way, if you're being passed and someone calls out, rider back, you can kind of slide over to the right. They can pass on the left, and it's just smooth for everyone. Do your best to communicate and work together in the single track. That way you can make everyone's race really fast. And nothing worse than trying to be passed by what you think is one rider, and then 2 other riders sneak by with them, and then next thing you know, you're over in a cactus. So whether you're passing or being passed, just try to work together to communicate as best you can. And like I said, even if you're doing the 10-mile race, it's still a long race, and there's lots of room to pass out on course. You don't have to do it all in that distance between the front of the start chute and the first section of single track. So thanks for coming out, everyone. We're looking forward to seeing you all and having a great time on Saturday and Sunday. If you are able to volunteer and help us out, we'd love to have you. You can sign up on the race page as well. There's a volunteer tab, and we can always use volunteers helping out. If you finish in the top 3, or if you think you're going to finish the series in the top 3, we do ask that you have 5 volunteer hours. That could be at helping out at the races, or just helping out at your local trails. The idea here is, the NBA is much more than a race series. We're raising money through the races to give back in grants to help improve the trails, build new trails, and that sort of thing. So we want people to be involved in, you think of the entire course of the year, you can probably find 5 hours to go out on your local trails and do a little cleanup, or help out for an hour or 2 at the race itself. So we really appreciate that, and we can't make these races happen without all the great people that surround the NBAA, as well as the sponsors and everyone that comes out. So thanks to you, the riders. We'll see you guys all this weekend, and have a good one.